Are you ready to navigate the new way to work? Forbes Books presents Dare to Care in the Workplace with Kathleen Quinn Votaw. Here's Kathleen.
Welcome back to my conversation with Sam Reese, CEO of Vistage. We've been talking about his 30-year journey from premier college athlete to leading one of the world's largest CEO coaching and peer advisory organizations. Sam has been sharing his insights on how to lead effectively in today's complex and dynamic environment and how to create a culture of excellence and customer satisfaction in your organization. Sam, we left off part one talking about tough decisions. How do you help people understand the importance of being focused on the customer and partner point of view versus the board, if they have a board, or the bank or wherever the money might lead? Because I find people don't have the courage always to have that fierce conversation, to steal a phrase from a former Vistage chair, Susan Scott, who wrote Fierce Conversations. So she's got her start at Vistage. So how do you encourage people to push back? And I don't almost think pushback isn't the right phrase. It's just having the courage to have the conversation.
Yeah, well, I think it really starts with a belief in the work that you're doing. I mean, you got and a belief that you're actually an expert in what you're doing. It's got to start with that. The story I tell that was like a demarcation in my career. I was a VP of sales for a large company. Actually, I'm really proud of the fact that we've got a lot of employees here that have worked for me in a few different places. But I'm VP of sales and marketing, big company, and we brought in a CFO, a new CEO, a new CFO, and the CFO was a celebrity CFO. He's a CFO of one of the biggest brands in the world. And we're in this meeting. He's only been there about 2 months, and he makes the big announcement. Here's the big announcement. He says, the big announcement is, I've been doing some studying, and I got great news. We're able to raise our prices by 15%. And everybody claps, the whole executive team. And I'm sitting there, okay. And so he's giving his presentation. I said, I have to stop you, like, what customers have you talked to? And the reason I'm asking is because I'm talking with them every day, and there's a lot of price pressure. There isn't an opportunity to raise it 15 or 20. Well, just in general. Now, this is a celebrity CFO, and I go, well, no, I need to know what specific ones, because I'm closer to customers than you are, and I'm telling you we're not going to raise the price. And I remember that I would have never had that confidence in the past, but the confidence was because I knew that I was spending time doing the right things. I was close to customers. I knew what was happening. If I'm just being a bureaucrat walking around the halls trying to, slap backs and position myself, I wouldn't have that confidence. And that would have been a disaster for our business.
Sure, absolutely. So could you define a celebrity CFO? I've never heard that phrase.
Good question. Celebrity CFO. Good question.
What?
Think about the biggest brands in the world. This one. Think about the biggest cola brands in the world. So they come from Nike, Pepsi, Coke, Walmart. These are some of the people that I got a chance to work with. And they basically come in with a whole playbook that they've used 5 different places, and then they just figure they're going to use it at the next place. But it doesn't typically work that way. I was part of that. Yeah, it doesn't typically work.
So what made you successful over there isn't necessarily going to apply to where you're going. So, they're the example of believe in your own press, right?
I think that's it's funny because that's a good way to frame it. I remember having early meetings in this scenario, and they would talk about what happened at this other, big company, and one was Walmart, one was Pepsi, and I would just ask the question, what does that have to do with our business? Because it'd be like, here's what we did at Walmart. Well, that's interesting. Tell me how that connects to our business. And I found they could do it, and of course they didn't have a successful run. But I find that, like, I used to catch myself doing that. I don't know if you've done that. Like, here's how we did things at Xerox, or I'm like, when I do that, I'm like, whoa, that means absolutely nothing to the scenario that I have right now. But because we have success other places as leaders, we just think, well, it worked there, it's going to work here. Man, exactly. That is a trap we fall into.
Yeah, we fall into that trap. And we also fall into the trap of, well, we've always done it this way.
Oh, status quo. Status quo is such a difficult thing. This is probably a warped view, but I view every organization is battling the status quo. And I say every successful one especially, right? Because if you've had success, you start to believe that this is what we're doing. And the fact is things change and you got to be discerning. You got to make that. Those are my most difficult changes in my career is when we've had success, always.
Yeah, absolutely. And, challenging the status quo is one of our core values here at Talent Trust. And I know it's one of Vistage's as well. But,
Yes.
when you rest on your laurels, if you will, it could be quicksand. You really can just fade away. Many companies have. So it's tricky.
Yeah.
Very tricky.
It could never happen to me and only for one reason. I had this coach in college. He was a legend named David Troy. And he would tell me in every flipping race, he would scream, it didn't matter how I was doing, don't be content. You may have heard, don't be content, don't be content. I saw him 2 years ago, right before COVID, we had a reunion. And I saw him again and we were laughing. But one day I asked him, why in the world do you say that to me? You don't say it to anybody else. And you scream at me, don't be content. And he would always say, and it was inspiring, he'd say, because you don't know how good you can be. You don't know it. I'm like,
What a
okay.
great coach.
Isn't that great? Oh, incredible human.
It's awesome. I just got goosebumps. So shifting gears just a little bit, from our wonderful Vistage Research Center with Joe Galvin and Ann, talent is the number one issue facing most Vistage members and beyond Vistage as well. It is the number one challenge across our beautiful United States of America. So tell us what Vistage has learned about this issue and how you're helping your members overcome it.
There is no question you have nailed the biggest issue, and I think it got even further exacerbated during the pandemic, where people really started to realize that all these great plans and processes and strategies, those are all really interesting, but they only come about when you have terrific people, only terrific people. And one of the things that happen, is sometimes innovation comes, or I'd say accelerated innovation comes from adversity. For us in our business, we had already started to spawn an idea on really adding to our product line with what we call leadership development programs, and those are all of the positions that support the CEO. We have a belief that if you're going to be training on being a better leader, you should do it in line with what your CEO is doing. You should be in line with his or her strategy. And so what we found is that really accelerated our business. And I think it's a microcosm of what's happening in the country and the world is that during the pandemic, it really started to grow when CEOs were saying, hey, I have got to invest more in the leadership and the development of my team, not only as a retention tool, but as something to help our business continue to grow. And it's been sort of stunning over the last 3 years what's happened in our business with these, what I call leadership development programs. I mean, it's grown by thousands of members just in the US, thousands across the world. And I see, we definitely have messages around that, but what I see Vistage leaders doing is really doubling down on the fact that the future of their business is all about the talent and the strength of their people that they're relying on. And we are definitely riding that wave and trying to make sure that we get that message out to everyone, because that's what the best companies are doing, and the best companies are winning now with that belief. You gotta infuse leadership, because that gives you leverage as a leader in your organization if there's other great leaders.
Absolutely. And how have you at Vistage overcome this, struggle for talent? Because I know a lot of the people who work at Vistage Support Center call out for all my friends up there. How did you assemble such an incredible team?
So proud of the team we have. I believe, it really starts with us in actually having a belief in what we're trying to accomplish. We have this purpose. We just say that we're all about helping high integrity leaders make great decisions that benefit their companies, families, and communities. And integrity for us is not a green word. It's all about making sure that we help leaders be these whole people that can live integrated lives. We have a belief that you're happy as a leader if you can be the same person you can as you are in the office, as you can be at home, as in the community. And that's what we really espouse. So bringing people into the organization that believe that's a worthy cause, that's something that we stand for, and understanding that just cascades, to every coworker. I mean, of our 40,000+ members, that cascades to millions of coworkers where they have leaders that really, believe in trying to be somebody that operates with integrity. So it starts with that. For us, it also, it really, not only having a belief in what we do, like really having a way to celebrate our members every day. We start, I think you know this, Kathleen, we start every meeting with a member story because we do not want to forget why we're here. We tell a story about how a member who overcame adversity and through the power of their Vistage group and the chair, tackled it head on and had success. So we keep that inspiration alive and makes people excited about the energy here. And then our number one principle, respect for the individual. Every single person, no matter what is going on in their life, deserves respect, no matter what position, no matter their viewpoints, and we celebrate that every single day. And my office, I'm sure like a lot of CEOs say this, but my door's open to anybody. And if you don't knock on my door, I'll be knocking on yours because I want to know what's happening in every part of the organization. But every time, and I do that, I block out my time so I can go knock on doors and talk to people. I was just doing that before here. I was having a blast with one of our inside regional consultants.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure you were. Yeah, you don't sit much.
I don't know if I've got your energy, but I'm close. I'm close to yours.
And that's funny because you're an athlete and a runner, and I fall off treadmills. Did you know that?
Yeah, but you're a hockey mom. You're a hockey mom.
Yes, I am. So that's so funny. So why should somebody be part of this beautiful community called Vistage? Why should somebody be a member?
I think there's so many opportunities to be a great leader here, and in this, all sorts of ways to do it. But what I think is I really feel like at Vistage, we've operationalized the way great leaders really learn and run their businesses. And it starts with this belief that other people, other CEOs sitting around the table that are going through the same challenges and experiences you are going to have incredible wisdom that you can learn from. But to take this step, you got to have an ego that's in check because you're going to hear some hard things, right? And you're going to give some feedback yourself that you think is brilliant. And the people are going to go, that doesn't sound very good. So one of the biggest reasons is you got to believe in the power of the group. And if you believe in the power of the group and those perspectives, you're going to find that you're going to improve as a leader, and candidly, you're going to improve as a human being. You're going to be a better version of yourself. Mm-hmm. You're going to build some great relationships.
How many members now?
Well, I think it's almost 45,000. So it's just, when I say that, it's sort of in 35 countries. It blows my mind. But you're going to build some incredible relationships, and you're going to build an environment where people are going to feel comfortable telling you what they think about your ideas, good or bad, and it'll be in a way that feels great, doesn't put you on your heels. And you're just going to find when you become a Vistage member, you're going to be a hell of a lot better at making decisions, and you're going to have more success. We say better leaders, better decisions, better results. And our members experience that every day.
And what's the number one reason why you work every day?
So I check in every day. You're going to love this. This is my, a few people know this. Here, I walk through the same way. I walk through the back stairs. I never take the elevator. I badge in. And when I badge in, we have a security system there. I ask myself a question. My question is, would I do this for free? And if the answer is yes, I badge in, right? Now, I don't tell the board that, but that I would do this for free. And for me, first of all, the people I work with are amazing. To work with a community of leaders and chairs and speakers, I get to be around the best people, but I really find that I feel I'm doing something really important. I feel like I'm doing something really important, and I feel like I'm in an environment where I'm getting better every day and I'm challenged every day. I really would do this for free. It's that fun right now. Even when it's hard, it's that fun. But we're making a difference. Yeah,
you sure are. As a 15-year member, you're making a big difference for a lot of people.
Isn't that funny, though, when I say that out loud, here I am at 61 years old. If I would have said that to you at 30 years old, if I would have laughed. Because at 30 years old, I'm like, yeah, how do I get mine? I got to get mine. What do I got? I got to go. What do I need to, where do I need to fly to? What do I need to do? I was fortunate enough to find Vistage when I was pretty young. I hope more people do, because it, just getting a better perspective on how to have success actually doesn't have to come at, working yourself to death or putting pressure that's ridiculous on you and your team. I hear stories about myself, candidly, sometimes, from way back when, about how hard I was pushing people on, Christmas Eve to get ordered. And I'm like, man, that was really me. And it was. I have to come to grips with that. It's painful.
Maybe make some phone calls and say, hey, I wasn't the best version of myself back then, and sorry, I've evolved. And I think for me, the secret of Vistage is being a learner, like you are,
yes.
Every day we get the grace to work on ourselves, and it's a gift, and don't waste it.
Oh, not to be morbid, but I tell people at my funeral, I just want two things. I want people to say, A, he was very generous, and B, the guy was always improving, right? If I could have those two things, generous and improving, I would feel like I lived a meaningful, life here. But I'm definitely a work in progress, Kathleen. I'm trying to get better every day.
I know. And that's what I love about you. So you got to tell us about your first day at Vistage, because that's a fun way to close.
Well, I was so jazzed. I had retired. And I actually said there was only two jobs.
Right.
Only two.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
I was doing some board work. I was doing some work as an operating partner. But I said, if two jobs emerged, one would be the head of USA Track and Field, and the other would be Vistage. And if you can imagine, in that same year, I interviewed for both of them. The head of USA Track and Field job opened up. They called me out. It was a disastrous interview. Like, it couldn't have gone any worse. And then Vistage called. So it was almost, I really couldn't believe it. But they asked me first to be on the board. And then when I said I'm not sure I want to be on the board, they asked me to be the CEO. So I was so jazzed. It's here in January, 8 years ago, almost 8, 7+ years ago. And I pull up to the parking lot. I know everybody can see me because there's nothing but windows on the front.
I know.
I've got all my stuff. You've been there. I got all my stuff with me. I got a cup of coffee in my hand. I'm jacked, obviously, and as I'm trying to balance everything, I put the coffee on top of the car. Well, I go to grab it, and I grab it too hard. Top comes off. Coffee completely explodes all over me. So I walk in, coffee stained, first day, and tried to explain it to everybody. And I just saw people like, oh, God, this is the new guy. This is the guy that's going to lead us. So I start off rocky. That's the best way to put it. It was rocky.
Well, it definitely, was, the version of coffee, that's for sure. Oh my gosh, that's funny, Sam. And I can see you grabbing a cup of coffee because you get so excited, and you probably grabbed it so fast. That's awesome.
Now I only drink decaf. It's only decaf, just so that for the last few years. But yes.
That's awesome. Well, my guest today has been Sam Reese, CEO of an amazing organization called Vistage Worldwide, with 45,000 growing members throughout our world. And Sam, thank you so much for being with me today and sharing your wisdom.
Always a pleasure to spend time with you, Kathleen. Thanks for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
You are very welcome. And that will do it for another episode of Dare to Care in the Workplace. I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you did, make sure you take a second to subscribe so you automatically get my new shows when they drop. Also, if you have a minute, I'd love if you left me a review so more folks like yourself can discover the show. Until we meet again.
This has been Dare to Care in the Workplace. To connect with Kathleen, go to KathleenQuinnVotaw.com. Kathleen's book, Dare to Care, is available wherever books are sold. Dare to Care in the Workplace is a production of Forbes Books.